In this video, I'm sharing the #1 skill that you need in order to be a successful recruiter. And be sure to stick around until the end because it may actually surprise you. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. When it comes to being a recruiter, whether that's you working in-house for a company, working at an agency, or even owning your own agency, there are a ton of skills that are required in order for you to be successful in this industry. However, there is one skill that continues to set recruiters apart from the crowd. Now, before I share what that skill is, I want to provide you with some context in regards to why it actually is important. When it comes to recruiting, your sole responsibility is to serve as a connection point between a company or your client and a candidate. And honestly, there's a lot that goes into that. You must communicate your value to the company in terms of why you are the right person to take on their requisition. You have to put a contract in place. You have to post appealing job ads in order to be able to attract candidates. You have to assess talent and send over qualified candidates to your client. You have to make sure an offer is actually extended to the candidate that you presented. And you have to pray to God that they show up on their first day so that you can actually get paid. That's a lot of steps, and honestly, each of those steps are so important because they're pivotal in you being able to distinguish yourself between being a successful recruiting agency owner or not. And while there are many skills that go into ensuring that you're able to execute each of those steps flawlessly, the #1 skill that you need in order to be able to do that is sales. That's right, sales. That's the difference between good recruiters and great recruiters. It really comes down to their ability to be able to leverage their sales skill set to really drive and deliver on being that connection point between the client and the candidate. So let me break it down like this. You have to be able to sell your agency to prospective clients in order to get a contract in place and actually consider them to be your client. Once you have them as a client, you then have to sell yourself to candidates in order to be able to secure them so that they can potentially fill that requisition. And then once you have candidates that you feel are qualified, you then have to go about selling your client on the fact that these candidates are the right fit for the requisition that they're looking to fill. I know, there's a lot of sales that goes into recruiting. So with that said, sales is definitely a skill set that you must possess. The good thing is that practice definitely does make perfect when it comes to this skill set. Now, before I share some tips that really help me to be better in terms of sales, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to go down below and hit that subscribe button, as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that drop weekly. So here's a few quick tips on how you can actually improve. The first tip is practice, 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 and I cannot stress this enough. I personally used to do a lot of cold calling so that I could become comfortable with selling my recruiting agency to prospective clients. You are going to get a lot of no's, but it's what you learn from each of those no's that's going to make the difference in you actually becoming successful in terms of you really honing in on this sales skill set. The second thing is to not be afraid to try out different things. If you're methodical and very structured like I am, then try actually writing out what it is that you want to say. If you're more of a person who likes to wing it, then just go for it. Do what works best for you and what you feel more comfortable with. Lastly, what one of my favorite tactics is in order to be able to actually go about honing in on my sales skill set is to be able to actually read books. And here's a couple that have actually been super helpful for me in just gaining a different perspective on how to actually go about sales. So we've talked about a lot in this video. So to recap, sales is the #1 skill set that you need in order to be successful as a recruiting agency owner or a recruiter overall. And there are tons of ways for you to go about honing in on your sales skill set in order to perfect it. Some examples include practice, of course, as well as reading books. And regardless of what you choose in terms of how you actually go about honing in on the skill, the #1 thing that you have to remember is that a growth mindset is going to take you so far in this business. If you believe it, you can achieve it. Well, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up. As well as if you have not joined my Facebook group, then I'll leave that link down below in the description box. Be sure to join. We are in there talking all things recruiting. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.